I just got back to our campaign office now, back in the downtown in Kitchener, and I was back chatting with folks at their doors throughout the day. Just tonight ended in Central Frederick with some younger volunteers, Ben and his sister Charlotte and their mom Laura. And throughout the day, without a doubt, the theme of what we heard most often of all was the number of people who are reacting to the most recent IPCC, the International Panel on Climate Change report that the UN Secretary General has called a code red for humanity. And as I was hearing from folks, it actually reminded me of exactly why I decided to run in large part in 2019, having read the 2018 report that was the most recent at that time from the IPCC that had mentioned that we need to cut emissions by at least 50% by 2030 if we're going to hold warming to less than 1.5 degrees. Today's report ratchets that up even further. We've already locked in warming of 1.1 degrees Celsius. Some words directly from the report. This is rapid, widespread, intensifying, unprecedented in thousands of years, irreversible for centuries to millennia. This is over 1,200 authors in 66 countries. This is peer-reviewed science, and it helps us understand and put together when we hear about all the fires around the world, including in BC in the last few months, the droughts, the flooding, the rising food prices. These are all the implications of the climate crisis we find ourselves in. And it helps me, when we're going to each door, and in some moments where I came back to the office tonight, and there's folks who are assembling lawn signs, and some are doing some data entry. And I think to myself, why are we even doing this? The folks that are here tonight could be at home with their families, for example. And I realized that, at least speaking for myself, this just feels existential. Like, what else would I be doing with my time right now than exactly this, than seeking to have a voice on the most critical existential challenge of our lifetimes, at a time when our government is continuing to subsidize fossil fuels, 18 billion a year. That's exactly the kind of funds, or as we look at expanding pipeline infrastructure, taking that and investing that at the scale of a Green New Deal in retrofitting buildings, in incentivizing folks, whether it's around electric vehicles or shifting to renewable energy options. All that we know is required to respond at the scale that scientists at the IPCC and Indigenous leaders and young people have been calling for so long. And that's exactly why, that's what gives me the energy, I guess, knowing that we've got a real shot at this, to have that voice. And that's why I'm going to be getting up tomorrow to do it all over again.